Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who That Nation, man. We in this thing, Sports Coma Thursday edition, representing the great Saint Think Tank. Like I've been saying for some time now, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the live. Please do me a service and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing, man. Much love to the fam, man. Hope you guys are having a very good night, or day rather. One more day remaining in our week before we hit the weekend again, man. And this month, it just shows you how fast time is moving by. Today is the 11th. Tomorrow's the 12th. We're almost in the halfway point of the month of January, and a year just changed over. If that's any indication of how fast time is moving, that means 2024 is going to be gone really fast. So with that being said, shout out to the fam. Appreciate you guys for being in the stream. Big ups to everybody, man, for being in this thing. We're going to cover some things today. Not a long stream today, family. We got maybe 2 or 3 things we'll go over with. We'll also I take a few questions from the chat as we head into the later portions of the show. There's a video I want to play for you guys from Channel 6. We'll go over an article about some players for the Saints that's going into free agency, and we'll look at the cap. And then, of course, we'll take questions as we move forward. So we'll start ramping up our draft coverage as well, prospect looking, just nailing down some stuff, looking at, potentiality in terms of what the Saints could be doing going forward. And, of course, we'll be reacting to all the latest news that come out of the facility on what's going on with the Saints, man. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being in the building. Big ups to everybody. What's up, Kay? Shout out to you. Good to see you. Pelicans, Noel in this thing. Chantel, how you doing? Appreciate all my queens, man. Much love to all the queens. Barbara, shout out to you. My dog, OG Jerry. Brother Travis in this thing. Big ups to you as well. Good to see you, sir. Bronze Flat Power God, shout out to you, fam. Antoinette, shout out to you, Queen. Good to see you. Brother Christopher's in this thing. Much love. Much love to everybody. Chantel XQ, is it true they're putting billboards out to say fire? one billboard, Chantel, that is true. We covered it last night on the Wednesday stream. I did cover that and showed it was a billboard. Matter of fact, I can show you again. So just give me just a second. I'll see if I can pull up the billboard, and they're raising money for it. And hold on, let me see it. And it says an anonymous donor was the one. That's the latest report on it. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to you. Give me just a second. I'm gonna pull it up here and give you some of the report. But yes, indeed, there is. Here it is right here. There you go. All right, there it is. But yeah, it is. People are definitely upset about what's going on with the Saints. And do they take a clue from that? No, they just think making no Loomis among had a bunch of topics or comments rather that he's just spewed out from. The only time you get to hear him is from a very controlled interview done by WWL, which is a partner with the Saints, and a very weak question line from whoever the host is, very weak and leading questions, just spineless questions, nothing very difficult, very controlled interview. Doesn't get, he doesn't go into any interviews where people going to ask him tough ball questions. And then when people then ask or make really good commentary about the team, all commentary, whether it's good or bad, is looked at as the same. If it's not involving commentary that agree with what they're doing, they don't want to hear it. He considers it noise. So their understanding is very bad. So since they can't understand that, get ready to understand your goddamn money going down. Understand that. All right. So anyway, yeah, this is a couple of things, and even this is one of the local news channels right here. Anonymous donor to fund fire Dennis Allen billboard. Frustration has grown to new levels among Saints family members following another season missing the playoffs, and many are calling for the firing of head coach Dennis Allen, including Rain Hancock. In an attempt to make sure that the family members were heard, Hancock and a friend began raising funds through GoFundMe on January 8th for Fire Dennis Allen billboard that will be placed on Earhart Boulevard. And then this is what Hancock said, is when you're angry about something, you do everything in your power to demand change. Apathy means you don't care. Anger means that you do care. Hancock said, I agree wholeheartedly. I said last night, family, when it's a disconnect between the supporters of the team, when they're visibly upset and frustrated, and then the people on the team, they don't seem as visibly frustrated as you are, there's a big problem there. That means they're not in it for what you are in it for. They're in it for the money. Now, you're going to make the money if you put winning first and appease the family base. You're going to win. You're going to make double the money and sometimes triple the money. But when you take this pompous, elitist, nose up in the air approach that Mickey Loomis took this year when he fired off a bevy of different elitist commentary, like you're not qualified. People are not qualified to judge NFL coaches. He didn't talking about NFL coach. He's talking about Dennis Allen, because that's the dude that people really hammering up. They don't like that people are going at Dennis Allen because he stinks. Also noise. He mentioned, what was the term he used for the noise for the family members? Yeah, well, that's noise. That's whatever he called it, something above before it and then noise. What else did he said? When the reporters were writing about players that were frustrated in the locker room, he called it as what was it called? What do you call it? Lazy and unsophisticated. Lazy and unsophisticated. He berated the writers. What else did he say? He said several elitist, really stinky, underhanded, dumb things during this year in these little press conferences. And yeah, he was really he you're not gonna beat us, dude. You can't. You're not equipped to. You're not made from the same stuff we are, man. You might represent the region, or you might represent the team, but you definitely ain't cut from the same cloth that we are. Ain't no doubt about it. And I agree wholeheartedly with Hancock. They're saying when you're angry about something, you do everything in your power to demand change. I got to read that again because it's veritas. Apathy means you don't care. Anger means that you do care. In just a couple days, the billboard nearly reached its goal, and Hancock began to put the plan in motion. That's when he says the advertising company decided to raise its prices to an unachievable amount. You don't think that has something to do with the black and gold? All of a sudden, they start hearing that, and all of a sudden, they started changing it and moving it up to a place where it couldn't be touched. This is what Hancock said. All of a sudden, it went from the money we raised because we had the money raised within 2 days. And it went from that amount to another amount. And we were like, screw it. We're going to give everyone back their money, Hancock said. Shortly after, though, an anonymous donor got in touch with him, and said he's going to fully fund a new billboard project with Lamar advertising this time. They decided to come along and do it, and I can't thank them enough. I didn't know there were money ferries in New Orleans. I didn't, Hancock said. While Hancock said there may be more speed bumps ahead, he will stop at nothing to get his message across to the Saints organization. I stand on business. I stand behind my beliefs. And if somebody got a problem with it, I'm not hard to find, said Hancock. That sounds like that dude is a member of the great Saint think tank. Let's give him a round of applause, man. Come on, man. Man, let me tell you something, bro. That dude said that was terrific. That was wonderful, man. That was wonderful, man. Let me read that again. This is what he said at the back end of it. I stand on business. I stand on my beliefs. And if somebody got a problem with it, I'm not hard to find. That's what I'm talking about, man. I love that, man. I love that. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. That's what I'm talking about, family. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yes. Yeah, negative noise. There you go. Not just regular noise. Negative noise. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, Mickey Loomis been saying all this stuff, and it is what it is, man. So I just think that, you know, it's a lot of great stuff we're headed into in terms of what's about to happen, because we about to see, and like I said before, they're gonna do what they do, and I want them to do it because it's about to be. You got to need elitist, pompous jerk off in Mickey Loomis over the team. Moves that's supposed to be made, he getting in the way. He doesn't realize that he's hurting the team. The guy told him that last year. You got to do something, Mickey. You're hurting the team. Y'all remember that? Mickey Loomis pacing back and forth, watching the game like he a regular person with no power. And he behaves that way. He doesn't tell Dennis Allen nothing during the season. Dennis Allen fails for a second straight year. He doesn't get involved. He don't get involved till the year is over with. And that's exactly what I said. You're trying to tell Mickey Loomis to get up off your ass and go over there and straighten this out before it's too late. Guess what he did? Nothing. Sat there and berated you. And yeah, that's negative noise. You're lazy and unsophisticated. You're not qualified to judge NFL. Whatever it was, all this other stuff. And then the team fails. Who's lazy and unsophisticated now, Loomis? Huh? Seemed like the damn negative noise was right, Loomis. It wasn't negative noise after all, huh, Loomis? The negative noise was trying to get your dumb ass up to do something about the team before the time ran out. And now the time ran out. Now what they doing? I'm excited to get into the offseason. You know, it's a good thing, you know, to have the 14th. I'd rather pick at the 14th, around the 14th, than to pick at the 20th. I don't want to pick around the 14th, Mickey. Picking around the 14th means that more than likely we're not making the playoffs, Mickey. What you saying to us, dude? But in the end, I told you that they wasn't serious about winning. Didn't I say that? Put one in the chat if you heard me say that. I said it numerous times during the season. You're not serious about winning when you, as the general manager, who's the boss of the coach, who's not a very good head coach, and everybody knows it, does nothing, literally nothing but make excuses and sit on his ass while the team failed. He failed the team, didn't do anything to help them turn things around when the time was right. He allowed the time to expire and then make excuses, just like I told you he would. So it didn't turn out like the negative noise was actually negative. Seemed like it was pretty positive to me. And the negative is you, because you are a failure, just like this guy you picked to put over the team. And obviously the man must be smoking something, because only a moron, a chump, and a simpleton would not realize that the guy that he picked had his own guys disobeyed his call. And they don't call that as, no, that's not a fractured locker room. That's not what it is. That's stupid. Which is, he said that too. He said that was stupid. Guys ask him about during the season or doing something about with a quarterback. I'm not. It's in the middle of the year. I'm not going to do that. He bust that Urkel. Maybe what's the female version of when he put the dress on? No, I wasn't really cool with that. But Myrtle Urkel or Myrtle. What's his last name? Urkel's last name on the show was Myrtle. Myrtle was the girl version of Urkel. That was supposed to be the cousin, but that was really him in the dress, and people was upset about that. But it was him. So he busted. I'm not going to do that. That was more Myrtle than Urkel. But listen, at the end of the day, all I'm saying, man, is that all this is a joke. And I told you then that they weren't satisfied. I mean, that we're not satisfied, but they weren't serious about winning. Nobody who's serious about winning would smash their ass and berate the reporters and make excuses for a coach that's not handling this business. Nobody would sit on there. Anybody worth their salt as a general manager wouldn't say something as stupid as my emotions. It's too rough during the season. Why? Because when you win games, your emotions are high up there, and then when you lose, your emotions are low. So my emotions all over the place. So I just don't make any personnel. I'll make any evaluations of the team until the year's over with because of my emotions. That don't even sound right. What general manager don't do his job, don't evaluate, and you're supposed to be evaluating? I mean, seriously. I make this point all the time because this is really stupid. And people hear this and say, did that guy really say that? I say, yes, he did say that. I got a big imagination, but my imagination is not enough to make up all the dumb shit that Mickey Loomis said during this year. And usually in previous and past days, in past years, you hear from Coach Payton, and Mickey just will coincide with Payton. But boy, I told you, when they pulled Payton up out of here, man, you seen all the stupidity. You seen all of the flaws. You seen all of the laziness, all the dumbness of these people that's supposed to be Payton acolytes. They were gifted with a supremely talented team, and they don't even have leadership ability. They're stupid. They're lazy. They're condescending. It's just they're ignorant and arrogant. How could you be stupid and arrogant at the same time? That don't even make any sense. But they are. They are stupid and arrogant at the same time. Two things that you put those two together. Stupid and arrogant equals failure. That's what they are. You put them together, stupid and arrogant equals stupid. It's a mathematical equation. Stupid plus arrogant equals failure. And that's what you got. A big heaping pile of stinky, funky Loomis and Allen together. A big pile of nothing, a big pile of failure. And it's stupid and arrogant, boy, I'll tell you. And even when everything we said, we were right on the money. The great Saint Tank, the family members, we were dead right. I'm not going to let that go. We were dead right with what we were telling these people, and they did nothing but let the clock run out and say at the end of the season, we're pissed. Dennis Allen had the nerve to say, we're pissed and we need to do better. The same shit he said at last year's press conference. The same thing, go back and listen to it. I should have played it. I just can't stomach to listen to him again after what happened after the end of the season. He went to an all-time new low when he went and ratted out his team. And we've been calling him a possum and a weasel. And he did what he did what he looks like. His Dennis Allen spirit animal is a possum and a weasel, because that's exactly what he did. He just lived it out. He went after the end of the game and went and ratted out his team to the whole world, which made him look like a complete and utter idiot. That they're not going, wow, that's amazing that they didn't listen to him. Well, that's Dennis. And then Amy says, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. If it was anybody but Dennis Allen, I would be surprised. But if it's Dennis Allen, that sounds about right. Which it is what it is. She said it. All right. Shout out to y'all guys. Thank you, Brent. He says, why why when I see Loomis, I hope Michael Myers shows up. Yeah. Oh no, don't do that, man. Don't send that guy.
I wanna say thank you very much, picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right, thank you for that, Brent. Oh no, Michael Myers. Oh no, hold on now, man. I'm not gonna let you do it. All right, what's up, John? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, brother Derek. I see you, man. Mickey Mouse working hard has spent the season. Team is fall apart in order to things. And listen, bro, and I've sat up here for day after day, week after week, month after month, and I consistently tell it the best way I can. I really do. You know, and it's frustrating because what I was saying was 1,000% true. It wasn't opinion because I was using the tape to back it up. I was using circumstances that happened with the team because it's not hard to tell. I know who Dennis Allen is and I know who Mickey Loomis is. When I'm able to capture your voice and your mannerisms like I did, I got your mind figured out. And he's not a very difficult dude to figure out. But there were certain things that was hitting from us because of the enormity of what Sean Payton was. He stood in front of the team, all these other guys worked with him. But boy, oh boy, that was the biggest thing right there. When you pull Payton out and you see who these guys really were. That was to this year, to me, what Q, if anybody asked me what's the biggest surprise that you got this year, when 2 years, like first year, you've seen some stuff, in the second year, the 2 years, because you've seen a really good pattern over the last 2 years. Then you took those actions over the last 2 years and coupled them with the Mickey Loomis interviews. That's when you really got an indication that these guys weren't who you thought they were. That's when you found out that Mickey Loomis is not a real general manager, that he's a masquerader, that he's just a slick accountant, and that we all know that Kai does the business. We know that Loomis is getting paid to do two jobs, but really Kai is doing a lot of the contract work, which is why he should get the general manager title. But arrogant and stupid would allow him to go somewhere else as opposed to putting him as the new general manager. You're not going to be there for the next 10 plus years. It's time for you to get out of the way and let Kai get there and to take the team in the next 20 years so he can find his own people. You had your chance. Now you need to leave the general manager position and go be the VP. I'm cool with you on the VP. That means I don't have to see you that much. I would rather see him doing it, than to see Loomis doing it, because Loomis is not a real general manager. That's why, like I said, Howie Roseman could fleece him. Other GMs could fleece Loomis because he's not a real general manager. What I mean by that, he doesn't behave like a general manager. He doesn't. He was a guy that Coach Payton told me, go get that guy over there. He would go and get him. And if the guy was too expensive, he would cook the books and kick the can. Y'all know what I mean when I say that. He would restructure these contracts, create phantom years into the future just to save up money to patch the team together to keep it going. But it's starting to fall apart. It's falling apart. And we're going to talk about that. There's an article I want to go over tonight, which kind of gives us a brief view into it. But listen, by all means, I don't consider this to be dark. I think this has to happen because at some point when success happens, we always get these big, heavy people, these big, crazy people that are just so overwhelmed with success. They thinking that whatever moves they do is, goal to fall out of their backside because they've had success for so long. They don't understand that comes at a price, and that sooner or later, if you don't keep banking on it, that price is going to have to be met and paid. Well, guess what? The Saints' last several moves that they made in terms of bringing guys in here, it's not looking too good. The draft guys that they're bringing in here, the first round draft pick Trevor Penning was benched in favor of several reserves. That's not looking too good. Foskey didn't look too good and ready to play last year. He had some injuries and stuff. He didn't look like all that. Brian Brissy did a really stellar job. Jordan Howden did some stuff. We had some young guys here, but overall, we go over some stuff, man, and it could be looking very interesting because Ireland and both Kai are looking for general manager positions because the Saints have a glass ceiling in the building, and Mickey Loomis is keeping fresh talent from reaching the general manager level. It would be a fantastic thing if Kai Harley, a young, intelligent black man there, would take the reins over the next 20 years to bring the team into the future. But we got an old, stubborn man up there that won't occupy 2 jobs and he been there for over 20 years, and he don't understand that you're not bigger than the team. You need to let these other guys climb up in the organization like you were allowed to climb up in the goddamn organization before they leave and go somewhere else and then start fleecing you yourself. You know you're not a real GM. So anyway, this is cool. I'm really happy. Shout out to Hancock, man. The man that's Rain Hancock, who came up with the billboard idea. And we need more people like Hancock. You know, we need more people. And that's what I was talking about. People like the great Saint Think Tank, myself and others, with that type of mentality. See, a fan would never have done this. This is a great teaching moment right now. Like, Q, what you got wrong with these other people? This is the point. A fan would never have done what the man on the screen did, Rain Hancock, and went up there and tried to get that billboard. A fan would have never done that. They would have put up with everything the Saints would have done to them. The Saints won't turn around. Hey, fan, turn around. And the Saints want to kick them in their ass. They'll let them kick them in their ass and then say thank you after they did it. Oh, thank you so much. I got kicked in my ass by the Saints. That means I'm a true fan, because that's pretty much what they're doing. But that's the point. Fans would never have done something like what we got on screen right here, fam. That's the point. That's the thing. That's the thing. That makes you truly involved. You don't just sit there and just listen to everything they say and gobble it up and don't have no real logical way to come back if they disrespecting you. And Mickey Loomis, I've been playing interviews all damn season with Mickey Loomis disrespecting these people, totally disrespecting them, telling them they're not qualified and It's no anybody that don't agree with him is noisy, is noisy noise or negative noise or whatever he was saying. He's been saying it all damn year, all year. But that's what I'm saying. A fan would never have gotten that billboard together. A fan wouldn't open his mouth to criticize the Saints logically, but he'll open that dumbass mouth to talk to or try to criticize you for criticizing them, and you have every right to do it. You know what I'm saying? They just brainwashed, and I have no purpose. There's no purpose for me and you to dialogue. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not trying to be mean. But you know, they got a lot of world out here. You go over there, stand over there, go stand on some thin ice over there somewhere. We're gonna be over here chilling and barbecuing. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be we good. But a fan would never have had that billboard out there. A fan would never get up here and tell the truth about what's really going on with this team. They would rather sit on their ass and listen to a bunch of garbage, man, night after night from the news people telling them, well, you just gotta listen. We just had it bad. We lost. It was 9-8. Listen, you know, it was the tough season. You know, Derek Carr was hurt. You know, he was dealing with so much stuff. He was hurt. And listen, Dennis, you know, he had some problems. But listen, we have the right guys in the building. Yes, Dennis is going to remain a head coach. It came down to the last 4 or 5 games. We made our decision. And the truth is, the decision was made. Dennis Allen could have lost the last 3 games of the season. They were going to keep him. He was never in any danger of losing his job. He wasn't in no danger. And why would he not be when Mickey Loomis is not an accountable dude? Who's keeping Mickey Loomis accountable? Who's checking Mickey Loomis out to make sure he's doing his goddamn job? Who's doing it? Is it the Dennis guy that's above him or whatever the man is, Lucia or whatever his name, Lucia? Does he check out Mickey Loomis to make sure he's doing his job right? No, they ain't doing that. Is it Gail? No. No guy, nobody's keeping Loomis accountable except for the mighty Who Dat Nation and the great Saint Think Tank, and he don't like it. But nobody's making sure that he does his job by allowing people to get up into the Saints organization and become general managers like somebody afforded him the opportunity to. It's time for you to get out of the way and let somebody else be the general manager. Who is there checking to make sure young people constantly are rising in this organization so they can stay young and vibrant and strong and not get old dinosaur-y and intrepid and stupid and garbage and fossilized? Because that's what's happening. They're getting fossilized to the point where they're not addressing some of the needs that are very obvious. These things that we're talking about are not very deep things that need to be addressed. They just need to be addressed and not ignored. Anyway, let's get into this article, man, on this one. And this is from WDSU Channel 6's. They bring on a data guy, Jeff Asher. Y'all probably heard of this. Is fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use, YouTube, fair use. We're going to go over this and we're going to listen to this and we're going to kind of do some live commentary over this. Y'all put one in the chat, man, if y'all can hear this one from Channel 6. It was actually a pretty interesting report. Here we go.
Season is over. Should have been in the playoffs, but they're not. Jeff, what are we talking about today?
So I came here ready to talk about the big playoffs that the Saints were going to be in, but, we're not able to talk about that. So instead, we're going to talk about the data and what it says about the reasons the Saints need major changes this offseason.
5 reasons the Saints need major changes this offseason. Pretty point blank. I like it.
Well, right to the point. All right. Number 1 is that the coaching staff has not been performing as well as you'd hope they'd perform. If you look at the advanced metrics, everything screams, and we talked about this week in and week out when I was on here, this should have been a playoff team. The Saints finished 7th in net EPA per play. That's expected points added. That is our advanced metric for comparing teams and individuals. 12 of the 13 top teams in EPA per play made the playoffs. The Saints are the only of the 13 teams that didn't make the playoffs. They had a win expectancy of 10.5 by a relatively simple formula where you take the number of points for and the number of points against, and you get an estimate of how many wins a particular team should have had. The Saints should have had 10.5 wins.
All right. So, this is, it's an analytic man, an analytical fella, dropping analytics on the family members. He's saying, and you guys heard him, that the Saints should have had 10.5 wins. It finished 9-8 on the season. The Saints should have made the playoffs. And it don't take the numbers to tell you that, but you could have looked at the schedule that the Saints had this year. Was so incredibly, ridiculously agreeable for them. It was the most agreeable schedule that we've seen the NFL give the Saints in some time. Not only that, but the Saints had a wide open NFC South. Tom Brady was gone. Carolina had a rookie quarterback, and Atlanta was still dealing with what was going on with their quarterback. They had pretty much a young quarterback there to try to figure out what they were going to do. So the Saints had a very agreeable NFL schedule. They had a very agreeable NFC South field that was wide open for them to get there. And what did they do? They missed the playoffs. How? See, this is the thing. 9-8, don't let them con you with the 9-8. The 9-8 thing was a failure. The only way that's agreeable in the win is to Dennis Allen only, because he's never had a season where he finished above, with a winning record. He did that this season here, that this past season, he finished 9-8 for the very first time in his career. That's a positive for him. But for us, that is a lose. That's a loss. It means 3 years of 9 playoff activity, despite the fact that you had a very easy or agreeable schedule, and the NFC South was before you, and you still couldn't get it. You let Baker Mayfield beat you. Amazing. And people don't understand how incredibly frustrating that is to have those things given to you, because not only was the teams that the Saints played on the 2023-24 schedule were very agreeable, the majority of the teams that we were playing were rookie quarterbacks. The Houston Texans should have been a win at the time. The Green Bay Packers game should have been a win. They were up by 17 and let them score 18 points in 11 minutes to steal the game from them in Green Bay. The Minnesota game, where the Saints went up there, without Minnesota having Kirk Cousins, he was done for the year, and Justin Jefferson was hurt, and they still beat the Saints. Make it make sense. They come back off from Minnesota. They get a bye week between the Minnesota game and the Falcons game, and they still lose the game. After telling you that we have the answers in the building, Derek Carr stood up there and lied and said to the reporters, Jeff Duncan, Mike Triplett, who was asking them, and they were playing along. They knew he was lying. And we was pinpointing and said, listen, look at the Derek Carr sitting up here lying to the reporters, talking about they got the answers to what's going on with the offense in the building. Put one in the chat if you remember that. Put it in the chat. When Derek Carr was standing up there in front of the reporters telling them we got the answers to what was going on with the NFC, with the offense, and the reporters asking, well, what's the answers? Well, we can't tell you that, but they're in the building. They're in the building. See, y'all remember all of that, man. When the season is over with and they standing up here at 9-8 and you don't even make the playoffs, you don't get in the playoffs, and you had a wide open schedule, a wide open NFC South, and the best you can do is finish out 9-8 to teams that are to a Tampa Bay team with Baker Mayfield on top of that thing. No disrespect to the Buccaneers. No disrespect. And Green Bay with a guy that's starting for the first time since Aaron Brooks was there, was able to beat the Saints. Amazing. Simply amazing. But at the end of the day, the Saints don't have anybody to fault. They can't fault me because I was telling them the right shit all year. I was telling them what needs to happen with the interior of the defense that Dennis Allen didn't change. When the Saints were getting ran on week after week and allowing scores to happen, getting ran on, they could not stop rushing a quarterback. They did not change the interior of the defense. We promote and change to do something about that. They didn't do anything. When the offense was stinking and stammering, stumbling and bumbling and falling through the goddamn floor and kicking field goals and having one or two quarters when they'll score a touchdown and then die for the rest of the game. We were saying at the time that something needs to be done about the offense. When Elvin Kamara was frustrated, they couldn't run the football. You could do so many different things. Start with changing personnel, and that starts at the top with the play caller of the offense. Put somebody else in there and see what happens. He did nothing. Now, he did promise change 3 times during the season when the Saints offense was stinking, but didn't do nothing. And then when the season's over with, this some bitch got the balls to stand before you and tell you that he's pissed. He's pissed when anybody with a brain could see that the Saints needed to just make some slight adjustments and they would have won at least 1 or 2 games from the schedule to get them in the playoffs. This was mismanagement. This what this was. They had everything that they needed to have. During the season, we kept saying when the season started that the Saints needed to operate as a running team and have the pass off the back of the run. I was been saying that what the Saints did when they knew Derek Carr was tore up in there, out there throwing the ball around, couldn't throw the ball accurately, ball sailing, all this kind of madness. What did they do? They try to make him throw the ball 30 times a game. Sometimes it was 40 times in the game and they still losing the game. And he have 30 and 40 something attempts per contest at certain stretches of the season, letting him throw the ball more than them running the ball. And at some points in the season, they were actually doing a decent job if they would have stuck to it. But then if it starts stinking, move these other guys that can't run block out and put somebody else in there. If you had to go to the street to get a veteran, go to the street and get a veteran. They had money. Make a trade. Do something. They did nothing. And then tell you at the end of the season that they pissed. And then the analytic man get up here with the numbers and said, Saints should have won 10.5 games. Well, la-dee-da. Tell me something I don't know. We've been saying that for the whole damn season long. What a waste. These Saints, Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen ain't nothing but 2 of the ugliest time-wasting trolls that you can ever possibly.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, man.
That gap you have to put on coaching. And Bill Parcells has the famous quote that you are what your record says you are. Well, the Saints coaching staff is what the record says they are, and that difference is on them. I think the best example is here. We have a graph of along the bottom. This is the pre-snap motion, the percentage of offensive plays where the Saints ran pre-snap motion. That data comes from ESPN Analytics. Along the vertical axis here, we have the percentage of plays that were play action. You can see here the Miami Dolphins, really innovative, had a great year for the Dolphins offense. The rest of the NFL, kind of towards this side, the Saints are this gold dot in the corner. They had the least innovative offense in the NFL. If you don't change that and you don't change what you're doing in terms of a coaching staff, you can't expect different results.
They got play action going there. Like,
Oh my God, man. This dude is basically a more nerdy version of myself. He's saying it sounding like with a Harvard education. Of course, I'm a little bit more rough and street sounding. I'm old diehard black and gold guy to the core, baby, to the bone gristle. But at the end of the day, had I not said these same things dozens of times to the point where I'm annoying my family members in the great Saint Think Tank? Did you just hear what the man said? He's saying what I've said for game after game after game while Mickey Loomis sat on his ass and did nothing. I'm not going to let that go. He did nothing but made excuses on why he's emotional, he can't evaluate during the season. And I said that over and over again, and people hear that, and it just, and to me, I'm like, that is so stupid. What kind of professional is this man? How do you let your emotions get in the way of improving the team on a week-to-week basis while we still had the time? We could have did something about it. We could have stopped this. We could have stopped this, man. We could have won some games. We could have improved some things. But now we facing these bastards, and they talking about we got to go into the offseason. They did nothing to stop the slide, what was happening. We seen it all and was warning them, and they told you that you are negative noise because you was trying to tell these dumbasses that you are not doing it right, but you're not qualified to judge a coach. But I guess we are qualified. We was right as rainwater. I can tell you that much because your dumbass coach failed to get to the playoffs for the second straight year, which makes him a failure and makes Mickey Loomis the biggest failure in the building. And he'll be the biggest failure and that I've seen in a long time attached to the Saints if he attempts to go against the Who Dat Nation and the Great Saint Think Tank by keeping Dennis Allen there and continue this pompous elitist mentality that he and all these little things that he like to take shots at the people like he has all of the knowledge when you were living off of Peyton. You're a Peyton parasite, a sidekick. You ain't nothing but Robin. You're a Robin to Peyton's Batman. You're a sidekick. Y'all put sidekicks in the damn chat. All the sidekicks you can think of. I can only think about Robin, Wonder Boy, or whatever. I can't think of a lot of them. But whatever a sidekick is, that's what the hell Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen are. They're Sean Payton's sidekicks. They're not even real superheroes that carry their own shit. These are sidekick people. That's what they are. All right, let's go back to this family. Let's get back into this thing. Here we go.
late in the season, but too little, too late.
A
in my
little bit.
opinion.
Yeah, and it didn't do enough.
Got to go with gold. Should have gone with gold usually symbolizes something good.
Well,
Not that good.
it's the Saints.
Yep, they're 9-8.
All right, let's move on to number 2.
Oof.
Number 2 is that the 2023 Saints had a historically easy schedule. 7 of their 9 wins were against teams that are picking in the top 10 in April's draft. Next season, they get 8 games against teams that are going to be in the playoffs coming up.
So naturally, they're going to go to the Super Bowl next year.
Naturally.
Yes.
They get the Eagles, they get the Chiefs, they get the Cowboys. It's going to be a much tougher schedule. And to show that, what we've got here are the 20 teams with the easiest schedules in terms of opponent win percentage since 2001. The Saints chuck in here at number 14. The Falcons, funnily enough, had faced an easier schedule last year. But the Saints, the Falcons, and the 2007 Browns are the only of these 20 teams to not make the playoffs in their given year. Every other team, and the 2007 Browns won 10 games. Every other team made the playoffs. What I want to pay attention to, though, is this column on the right, which shows the change in the number of wins for each team the next year. The 2007 Seahawks had the easiest schedule by win percentage of any team since 2001. They won 6 fewer games in 2008. The average team lost greater than 3 more games per season the following year after they had an easy schedule. So a lot of the reversion to the mean is just going to be coming from the schedule getting harder. We can absolutely expect a harder schedule next year.
So you're telling me the Saints are likely going to go 6-11 based on that?
You know, if that's what the numbers suggest is going to happen based on 9 minus 3. That's the simplest way of guessing what they're going to be.
Analytics, baby. The Saints, and that was one of the things that I was thinking about, that the commentaries that were made during the season was, and this is just analytics, is what they're saying based on what happened from the past. And we knew coming into it, this very agree. I say, I'm not going to say soft, even though you can. I say agreeable. It was a very agreeable schedule for the Saints. And not only just who they played, but what time they played them and where they played them. Like when they got ready for Green Bay, they played Green Bay when the weather was really good. It wasn't a point like toward the back of the season when it was involved and they have to go up there and take these people on in snowy terrain and all that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying? The teams that they played and when they played them, some of the colder weather teams was during warm weather, really good weather. So, I mean, they had it all this year. They had it all. They really did. They had a wide open NFC South and a very agreeable schedule this was set up for them to thrive. This was set up for them to be very successful, and they squandered it. They squandered it. An easy schedule in the NFC South, these people squandered it. Here we go.
The third reason to expect things to change next year and to make major changes is the Saints had really good luck in terms of turnovers. There's lots of analytics that suggest that turnovers are relatively random, not completely random, but in a given year-to-year situation, they're relatively random. The Saints were plus 11 in turnover margin. That was the third best in the NFL, only one off of the best. Derek Carr, I know there was a lot of grumbling about Derek Carr, but he had the second lowest interception rate of his career. He had the third lowest number of fumbles, only 7 fumbles in his career. So if you take this graph, which shows along the vertical axis the number of the turnover margin for every team from 2001 to 2022, on the bottom you have the next year, what was their turnover margin? Was it, if you went from 10 to 5, you'd be -5. So what it shows us is there's a lot of regression to the mean in this. So here were the Saints at plus 11. You would expect a significant decline in their turnover margin. So the fourth reason why the Saints are in need of major changes is that they are old and expensive. They were by far the oldest roster in the NFL in 2023, and it's only going to get older.
Salary cap, everyone's favorite conversation every offseason.
Well,
the Saints are always in salary cap issues.
We always have the salary cap issues. Here along the x-axis, we have the average age of every roster right now. This is going to change. And then along the y-axis, we have the salary cap space. Here are the Saints in yellow, obviously the oldest, obviously the least salary cap space. Cam Jordan had 2 sacks and is going to be 34. Taysom Hill is going to be 34, and he's got a very limited role, and he's going to see his salary cap number jump. Alvin Kamara is going to be 29 in a league where almost all the running backs are 28 and younger. You've got all of these very difficult decisions. Usually they kick the can down the road. Is this the core you want to kick the can down the road with? Ideally, what you do is you make up for it with our fifth reason that the Saints need major changes through the draft. Young contracts are the way to get better, to get younger. And you saw it in 2006. You saw it in 2017. Terrific drafts, epic drafts that made several years of success. The Saints have been really bad at drafting the last few years. They are one of 2 teams to not have a single player that they've drafted make a Pro Bowl since 2018. Under Mickey Loomis from 2001 to 2017, they had a player make a Pro Bowl in every draft but 2014. They've gone several straight drafts without a Pro Bowler. You saw some positive signs towards the end of the season with the rookies, but their entire process with drafts, even if you don't think about making huge trades for Trevor Penning and Marcus Davenport, the players they're selecting are not making the impact that's making up for having an old roster. So right now, does not look great for what the Saints are going to happen to the Saints next year. I don't know if that's coaching changes, personnel changes, philosophical changes, but they really do need to think about major changes next year.
That's Jeff Asher, Saints data analyst.
They need to send, and this is something that I'm going to send to the New Orleans Saints organization so they can listen to this, because they need to hear that. And see, that's what happens when you do your damn homework, Loomis. When you understand, you know how bad when you're doing your evaluations as opposed to being emotional all the damn time, You're actually doing your goddamn homework. You're doing your work, the stuff that you're getting paid to do, to keep a temperature or a check on your team, to make sure the players that you're drafting, the guys that you're bringing in here, are having an impact at a positive level. It would help if you would do daily or even weekly to monthly evaluations on the team, that we can understand what we need to do moving forward. But then after the end of the season of not doing anything, gonna wait another couple of weeks before they come up with a stratagem to decide on what they're going to do to fix the team. The bottom line is, this is a mismanaged team at every level. This is also a big, fat, happy team. What I mean by that is they're big, fat, and happy off the money that we've pumped into their bank accounts over the last 20 years. And they were sleeping at the switch over the last several years. Now you're seeing funk, and you're seeing stink, and you're seeing inaptitude. You're seeing all this other stuff going on. And when you're ringing, I'm ringing the pulling the cord. I'm shaking up the bell. I'm blowing the damn horn. Whatever you want to call, I'm trying to sound the alarm to let these people know that this is going in the wrong direction. So all we get hit with is your negative noise. You're a negative noise. You're a negative nanny, and all this kind of old bullshit. So at the end of the day, I'm just like with Mickey Loomis, and I'm telling them, you need to do something about that. You need to get up, and this is what Mickey Loomis's need to do. This guy gave us some analytical proof why Loomis needs to step down as the general manager and have somebody else with some vision, some youth, to step in there and take over the general manager duty. He still will be the vice president. He can get the hell out of the way while we got a chance. Let somebody come in here, let them find their own head coach, let them build up the team the correct way. And this was well said. A lot of what this man said was hardcore statistical analytics that he gave them, but a lot of the stuff that we said during the season was strictly you look at what we were saying were commonsensical. All this is commonsensical because we were saying it the entire damn year. What we were seeing from Dennis Allen. We knew Dennis Allen, listen, Dennis Allen lacks a lot of stuff. That's why I don't want him to be the head coach. It was a bad call. And Loomis made the call because Sean Payton told him to. He didn't make the call because he felt like Dennis Allen. That's what he said in that bullshit press conference a couple of years ago. Oh, and now Dennis Allen is going to be a fantastic coach. He's a great coach. He never done anything. Make it what you're talking about. He ain't winning the damn thing. He was a losing ass head coach with the Raiders. Well, hold on now, Q. You can't say that. Oh, Dennis Allen is a good guy, Well, make him the damn janitor. Let him go wash some windows somewhere. He probably screwed that shit up. I mean, the dude is just he's not the right guy for the job, is what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, it's just crazy, man. All right, brother Rich, thank you, man. He says, Q, I believe the Saints didn't play some players because of their contract incentives that would cost the team. That's why we're here. That could be right, brother Rich. I'm not mad at you. That makes some sense, bro. And brother Thomas says another reason Saints at home because DA and Pete game plans to start each game put them behind the A ball. Yes, so badly that we needed halftime to make adjustments. Hashtag bad coaching. And remember, one of the things Dennis Allen said when people asked him about halftime adjustments was, what did Dennis Allen say? Dennis Allen says, the halftime adjustments are overrated. Remember he said that? People asked him about halftime adjustment. What did you tell him at half? What adjustments did you make at half? What did Dennis Allen fire off and say? Oh, halftime adjustment, that's overrated. He got Buck on the reporter. Remember that? And I'm like, man, who are these people? And then Kamara came the next person. I think he was after Dennis Allen got off of there and left. Alvin Kamara stepped to the mic after the game. And then Kamara, they talked about halftime adjustments. The question was asked. He said, and Kamara said, we made the adjustments at halftime. We made some adjustments. I was like, so I mean, it was either him or Taysom. But regardless of, man, it was always a disconnect in the building between what was going on between the coach, the supposed coach, and what's going on with the players. It was obvious frustrations from several key players during the season. But notice that a guy like Mike Thomas and these guys usually get in trouble. They'll get in trouble because they're saying, well, Mike Thomas is on the online tweeting. Mike Thomas is doing this kind of stuff. Mike Thomas is upset. Well, who does he take his frustrations to? Who's going to listen? Is it if he could he take it to Dennis Allen? No, because a lot of people don't trust Dennis Allen. How he dealt with Jameis the year before when he lied to him about I'm gonna play you, and then lies to him, and Jameis says he lied to me. Why didn't Jameis go talk to Mickey Loomis? Because Mickey Loomis is not involved in none of that. Mickey Loomis is somewhere doing some other dumbness. He ain't keeping the pulse of the team. He don't know what he's talking about. He's not even a real general manager. A real general manager would never have let Michael Thomas frustrations get to the point where he tweeting on social media. You mean to tell me that's the first thing they do? Them dudes is going to go, because if that was the case, you would see him be tweeting a lot more than just a few circumstances that happen out there. At some point, these guys would have to go. Like, if you can't make it work with the coach, my door is open. Okay? This is what a responsible general manager do, Loomis. My door is open. If you got a problem, our star players, listen, if y'all have a problem, you can't deal with the coach. And listen, we understand it's a pecking order, but I would rather you come to me than you go to the reporters. Okay? So if you have an issue with Dennis or anybody, my door is open. You guys can call me, or you can come in. I'll close the door. We'll talk it out. I'll make sure I do whatever I can to make sure everything gets smoothed out and appease the players. That's what we're doing here. We about the players. We're about success. We're about keeping that environment of family going. And we know sometimes family get into it. So if you can't make it work with the coach, my door is open. Come holler at me and I'll see what I can do for you. Now that's what a cool ass general manager does. You don't then, oh, well, listen, Jameis, I know Dennis might have told you that, but listen, well, look here, buddy boy. I'm so sorry that he told you that, but listen, if it's all decisions are final, and he's the coach of the team. Well, Mickey, you're the general manager. Can't you go and talk to him? He lied to me. I'm getting paid to be the starter. I mean, not Andy Dalton. Well, see, Jameis, a starter could be such a very strange word. Sometimes, the starter, there was once a long time ago, they had a jacket that used to be a starter jacket. And, and sometimes people would put the starter jacket on and they would think they would be starters of the team, and it was just a name, it wasn't the same stuff. So that starter could be a fringe word, and what I'm trying to say is look over there, and then he points to look over there, and then when the guy turns around and look, and then he looks back, and Mickey's gone like he was Batman or something. He just disappears. That's basically what could have happened and that's been going on in the damn building. Because if you're a general manager that give a damn about the mindset of your players and your team, your door is always open. Your door is open. How are all these weird circumstances, situations happening with Dennis Allen? And you're supposed to know who this man is if you hired him. You're supposed to know whether or not he would be capable of dealing with people outside of the defense. What is his weird quirks and behavior patterns? And the reality is he had zero resume. There was nobody asking for Dennis Allen to interview him from anything. Not even college teams was interested in viewing. Nobody wanted this guy, but it was Sean Payton. Sean got pulled here, just like Drew does. And Sean Payton told Loomis, Dennis, your guy. And Mickey Loomis, as lazy as he is, lazy and as unsophisticated as he is, turned and looked at Dennis Allen. And after going through that, and they really didn't want to go through that long ass look to try to see if they could find other head coaches. Well, we're going to try to keep it the same. The only problem is you don't have none of what Sean Payton has in terms of his leadership ability, his ability to make people accountable, his discipline, and by all means, it's damn sure his intelligence, bro. Those are several really big items to be missing when you got all these Tonto and thank you, Barbara, for that, Tonto and Superboy and Robin ass people around the team. The team ain't going nowhere, led by a bunch of sidekicks. So, I mean, in the end, man, thank y'all for y'all. It says Q, did you hear? Yeah, I heard it. I covered it, bro. We talked about from Amy Trask is her name. We covered that on the Tuesday show, with that, because that came out, man. We covered it on Tuesday on the Patreon special. And then I think that Wednesday, everybody got a hold to it after that. They started doing it. But we had done that already on Tuesday on the Patreon stream. We talked about Amy Trask. and what she was saying about Dennis Allen. But that was nothing new. She said that about Dennis Allen when the Saints first hired him. She said, I hope he's improved. And that was 10 years ago, that she worked for them. And she said she's not surprised because Dennis Allen he's aloof. He's a weirdo. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He's a backstabby, weaselly guy. You just seen him throw his entire team, his whole offensive unit out threw him out in front of the bus before the world with the victory formation scandal. the victory formation scandal. He threw his team to the dogs. He threw them out front of the bus before the world. You seen him do that. How are they supposed to play for this guy when he's known for doing that? Now, even though they did something that wasn't right, but did it make sense for him as the coach to make you aware of what happened? He didn't even have to do that. Just keep it in house. Isn't that what he said about Derek Carr's situation and all the other stuff that was going on? We just going to keep that in house. He said that all season, most of the time. So what happened to that philosophy there? Why didn't you keep it in house then? Because he's such a weasel. He can't help himself. And this is your head coach. This weaselly guy is your head coach. A guy with a soft schedule, a wide open NFC South, and the best you can do is finished out with 9-8 record, which is a plus for him because he never done anything. He never won anything in his life. And now that you have that 9-8 record, Dennis Allen can say, hey, man, I won something for the first time. They can't call me a loser no more because I actually finished with a 9-8 record. That's the only thing that's a positive in his mind. Never mind the fact that he could have won a lot more games if he would have got off his stupid ass and did something about the offense early on, like perhaps have a different play caller when the offense was stinking. But at the end of the day, these people are incapable of that. Dennis Allen is what he is, and Mickey Loomis is an idiot too. It's just what it is. We need these guys gone. And hopefully with the billboards and people like that, shout out to Mr. Hancock who doing the billboard. Shout out to the Great Saint Think Tank. Shout out to all you guys out there who's saying, you know what, man, I'm keeping my money in my pocket. We about to show you what time it is. Because let me tell you something, Mickey Loomis is really arrogant. He's been saying really arrogant stuff, telling people they're not qualified, calling the reporters lazy and unsophisticated because they were writing about stuff that was happening in the locker room with the team. They just didn't want you to know about it. Just popping off at the mouth, one dumbass comment after another. Every Wednesday, he talks to WWL, something stupid gonna fall. He opened his mouth, something stupid gonna fall out of it. That's just, he never let us down. Every interview, and then he says to Dennis, when they ask him about the question with Dennis Allen, is it split in the team? Is the team fractured? Oh, that's stupid. He actually said stupid. That he doesn't believe there's a fracture in the team, and the team just literally violated the coach's orders by running the play out of the victory formation, despite the fact that he told them to kneel on the ball. Me personally, I've never seen that before in the NFL, at any NFL level. I've never seen that before. But he doesn't call that as them being it wasn't malicious. It don't matter if it was malicious or not. The reality is they did it for themselves over the coach. The coach was so detached from reality that they asked for something very noble for a guy that had been working hard all year, beating injury and everything. And he heard it and told them no, and they still ran it out. And you don't think there's a split somewhere? When the player's running plays without your permission, that's not the issue. Loomis said that was stupid to say that. The dumbass reporter that was asking him the question set up the question in a way where he was validating them. I just really despise that type of line of questioning. We don't need any more brown noses or Terry Crews types running around out here. We need people to tell it real, man, and keep it real. We don't need all of these butt kissers and all these other people that's willing to do whatever it takes for some money and some influence. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And people don't respect that, man. All right, so let's hit this article. 24 Saints players will be free agents in March. Small crowd of Saints players are going to test the market in free agency in March. And shout out to John Sigler at the Saints News Wire. Shout out to him. And shout out to Sigler, man. Shout out to you, John, man. You've been doing fantastic, bro. You've been keeping the heat on Dennis Allen. I've been watching your articles, bro. You've been keeping the heat on Dennis Allen more so than any other writer in the entire Who Dat Nation. And I salute you for doing that, man, and keeping the pressure on him, because I can tell in your writings that you don't like Dennis Allen, and you giving the information behind why you don't like him. You've been hitting him hard, and I just listen, keep doing it, man. We're gonna share these articles. We're gonna keep promoting it. So shout out to John Sigler. I've been noticing he been punishing Dennis Allen in the press very elegantly, too, with the very well written articles, just ripping Dennis Allen apart, and with the facts. With facts in these articles, man. So shout out to Sigler, man. He's been doing a fantastic job all damn year, man. I see you. All right, so as here he goes. This is his article, Situations More Complicated Than Others. And we talked about the Jameis Winston situation, about Jameis restructuring this deal. I still think that is Jameis is gone. I'm gonna just be honest with you. And I know a lot of people say he restructured Q. I think this is going to be a situation where Jameis is not coming back. Like, and he knew he wasn't coming back when he did what he did, man. Jameis is going to be up out of here. I just think that the situation is going to work where he going to ultimately whether it's a post June cut or whatever, a pre or whatever they're going to do it. I think that'll be the way where we will see the end of. I think we'll see this is the end of Jameis, and they'll probably be in the market looking for another backup quarterback. But we'll get into it. So Winston, for instance, reworked his contract. The Saints must choose to extend him or release him, essentially making it a voided year. Even if he's technically under contract for 24, that's also the case with fan favorite wide receiver Michael Thomas. On top of that, there are different types of free agents. We covered this on the last stream. Exclusive rights who have the option to either play for their current team at a minimum or sit out the 24 season. So guys like Rashid Shaheed won't be going anywhere. Restricted free agents could be tendered at a higher salary and possibly bring back compensation if signed elsewhere, but that's rare to see. The vast majority of free agents will enjoy unrestricted status and have the freedom to field offers from any other team. So here's a few of the players that he has neatly listed here. Wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, but an exclusive rights deal. We know the Saints are going to get this done with Rashid Shaheed. He's a big part of the offense. Going ahead, he's a fantastic player. Plus, he's coming off a Pro Bowl nod. He's going to be pretty good watching Rashid Shaheed, an undrafted guy, really shine, man. And he's been spectacular in the Saints offense. Credit to Michael Thomas working with this brother, getting him up to speed, man. He credits a lot of that to Michael Thomas helping him out. So, yeah, it's been fantastic, man, watching that happen. Defensive lineman PJ Mustafire, who was an exclusive rights guy. You remember he was the guy that came over from the Broncos to help out with some of the issues that happened with the Saints interior defensive line when Malcolm Roach got hurt. They brought in Mustafire and another player to kind of fill in, but they gave him an opportunity to play. He got into several games on the back end of the season. He could be an interesting piece moving forward at the right price. We'll see. Restricted free agent Adam Prentice, the fullback. I think that Prentice did a decent job. He does some special teams work, but at the end of the day, I really do think that the Saints need to find more of a versatile player at their position, somebody that can play fullback, that can do some H-back if you need him to, even a guy that can line up as a tight end if you need him to, somebody. And then they got those guys out there, whether you can go look in the draft or, we need to find somebody with a little bit more versatility than Mr. Adam Prentice. He's basically a traditional fullback, and he's not a very good one. No disrespect to Adam Prentice, I'm not trying to disparage you. But I'm saying, bro, you're not very good at what you do. Some of the times when you go out to block guys, you don't really block them. Like, I'm from the school where I see fullbacks literally decapitate and destroy guys they blocking. Prentice does not do that. I'm just going to keep it real, and the tape backs me up. Cornerback Shamar John Charles, who they brought in, is restricted. Lynn Bowden Jr. is another restricted versatile player, special teams, wide receiver. The Saints used him in several different applications this past season, and Lynn Bowden Jr. showed some stuff. And, based on what it looks like, he could be a restricted guy. Ryan Conley's unrestricted, spent a lot of time on a injury list, being hurt. Isaac Yiadom is unrestricted. Remember, Isaac Yiadom really put it together. And I was very critical of Isaac Yiadom early on because I kept telling Isaac, listen, bro, if you would be a pretty solid cornerback, if you can learn to turn around and locate the ball. But a lot of that's tied into a lot of his confidence and stuff like that. And you can see his technique got better. He played more confident because he was playing more technically sound. And you can see, whether that was secondary coach Robinson or whether that was Joe Woods, who controls the defensive backs, situation. Joe Woods had a lot of our cornerbacks really playing on another level, and Isaac Yiadom was a guy that really benefited from the tutelage of a guy like Joe Woods. You can see his maturation. He became a very solid young cornerback for the Saints, so hopefully they can get Isaac Yiadom back at the right price. Max Garcia, offensive lineman for the Saints, I think they can do better than Max Garcia. Very slow. He had penalties this year. Very lackluster showing for Max Garcia. I think we can do better than that. Zach Bowen is unrestricted. He finally reached the end of his free agent contract. But they finally figured out in the final year of Zach Bowen's contract on how properly to use Zach Bowen. He was playing well on special teams, and he became a situational pass rusher in the sub package for the Saints defense when injuries came up with Cam and Peyton Turner and Isaiah Foskey, the Snowman. These guys were absent. Zach Bowen turned it on and was able to get sacks. And I think that depending on the right price, you can bring Zach Bowen back now that you know how to use him. So we'll see if he finds greener pastures, perhaps go to Green Bay. I heard that was a rumor some time ago, like last year he might be interested in going back home to Wisconsin. But then again, if the Saints, at the price got to be right, of course, for them to keep a guy like Zach Bowen, now that they know how to use him. Malcolm Roach is also unrestricted there. Big Roach, wouldn't be mad at them coming back at the right price. Keith Kirkwood would be it wouldn't be an expensive contract. Jonathan Abram played well enough that he earned another 1-year deal to come back. We'll see. Cam Irvin, unrestricted, played some games for the Saints at the right tackle position when injuries started tearing us up there. Jimmy Graham basically sent the farewell tweet to the family members this year. I don't anticipate Jimmy Graham coming back to the Saints, especially how they just famously decided to inactivate him and not play him during games. And the Saints were struggling in the red zone. They had a healthy Jimmy Graham sitting there like, why, I'm here. You guys going to use me or not? I'm here. And they didn't use him. And people were like, if you're struggling in the red zone before they started doing better toward the back end of the year, why didn't you use Jimmy Graham? Dennis Allen said at some point during the year, Jimmy Graham's, there's nothing wrong with him. Jimmy, we just, we're going to use him at the right time or whatever he said. And he also said, well, he's not hurt, but he was an inactive, healthy scratch for most of those games. And they were asking how Jimmy Graham's doing with that. Oh, he's doing like a pro. It's like a pro. And I'm like, dude, you got a 6'7" Jimmy Graham right there. He's not what he used to be, but he can damn sure catch touchdowns in the red zone. The Saints just didn't use him, almost like they didn't want to win. Almost like they wasn't serious about winning when you got a Jimmy Graham and you're stinking in the red zone at the time. You got a 6'7" red zone weapon. You could just throw it in this direction. He's going to come down with it. The Saints would even play him in some games. They wouldn't even put him in the red zone when they got there to be able to do it. So, I mean, it was just laughable. Lonnie Johnson Jr., a 1-year prove-it deal, kind of mixed results with Lonnie Johnson. He has some positive plays, some not. Hugo Amadi really impressed me. I like Hugo Amadi. I think they should bring Hugo Amadi back. He's a playmaker. He had like 7 tackles in the last game. This guy has a head for the ball. He is always around the ball. He's an undersized guy, but dude, he is a playmaker. Hugo Amadi is a guy that the Saints definitely need to bring back. Kyle Phillips is unrestricted. Benjamin got hurt early. He's one of these bad guys that can catch the ball out the backfield. Really professional running back. Benjamin is pretty solid. We'll see what the Saints. I mean, he's not a very expensive veteran. I can, for them to bring him back. Andrew Dowell, our linebacker that we had here, a special teamers, Ty Summers. Trey Turner was a guy that we were really excited about. Trey's he's a journeyman vet, but he's better than a guy like Max Garcia. He's a guy that can help us in terms of a guy that you bring in off the bench, and he got hurt early on, and that was unfortunate. Maybe they'll do something with him if he comes back cheap. Andrus Pete is a void deal right here. I think Andrus has finally reached a point where Andrus is pretty much done. Michael Thomas is also, I believe Michael Thomas is done as well with the team. And Jameis, I think Jameis is done too. So, I mean, these are some of the guys. Like I say, Jameis, I think Jameis, ultimately it'll end up with him going somewhere else, Michael Thomas, and, of course, Andrus Pete. So that's some of the stuff. And shout out to John Sigler once again for being able to put this list together for us as well. Now, let's go ahead on and kind of jump to this right here, fam. This is over the cap numbers right here for the black and gold. As you can see right here, They estimate the Saints in the red by over $82 million. Shout out to the family members watching on Instagram, brother Terrell Butler, my dog Randolph, B Frank, DJ Field Cole. Shout out to y'all, man, on Instagram. 82 over $82 million in the red currently for the black and gold. Man, it's going to be interesting all at the same time. We knew they started restructuring contracts. They restructured Laddie's deal. They did something with Jameis' deal. We know that Ram is probably coming up real soon. The Saints have some issues going into the offseason that they're going to have to get down, and they're going to do what they do, which is start messing with all these contracts, restructuring all these damn contracts and working the money back. And once they get the money worked back, what would be the next step that they do? So a portion of the game is also looking at the draft ahead and figuring out what player or what areas of the team that they need to work from to attack so they can improve. I personally think that the offensive line is definitely a point of contention for the Saints. The offensive line was terribly inconsistent for the Saints last year, this past year. And I just showed you Andrews Pete there. James Hurst is another guy that I think Hurst, I don't want Hurst here no more. Let's just put it like that. We have to improve what we do. And I know we got Nick Saldiveri at the guard position that they drafted. I would still see if I could get somebody else to provide competition. But really right now, the Saints, if you look at it, you have McCoy and Ruiz McCoy at the center, Ruiz at the right guard position, Ramczyk at the right tackle position could be forced to retire because of the knee situation is that bad. So the Saints have Trevor Penning that they drafted. Perhaps a good thing could be for Penning to start at the right tackle position and not at the left tackle position. I thought that's a better spot for him to be. I've said it when they brought him in here. When they drafted him, I said don't put him at the left tackle position. But at the time, I kept telling them to put Ram over there. But at the time, we didn't realize how bad Ram's knee was. I knew he had an issue that he was dealing with his knee, but I don't think we really knew that it was so bad that it would threaten him not being able to play for the rest of his career. I don't think a lot of people seen. They kind of kept that one close to the vest. But now that we realize Ram could possibly, for next year, he probably not going to play next year. It could be done for the rest of his year, for the rest of his career, depending on what needs to be done with that knee. The Saints need to really look at what they're going to do with Trevor Penning. I think right tackle should be a spot where he starts at the right tackle position. And the left tackle position, they need to find somebody else, and that at the guard provide some competition with Nick Saldiveri if he's indeed the guy that they believe in. So the offensive line needs to improve. And, of course, the depth situation behind the line, they need to add some depth there. And then when you start moving across the team. But I think offensive line should be something that they attack right away. The second thing to me would be also the defensive line. Like, okay, we added Nate Shepard and Colin Saunders. I think Saunders played well. I think Brian Bresee should now start next to Colin Saunders. I think Nate Shepard should be a guy that the Saints ultimately place in the reserve, in the rotation as the interior defensive lineman and add somebody there. But I think Brian Bresee should step up next to Kalen Saunders. I think that he's kind of shown that he might be ready to step in there and make some plays. And I think that's pretty much the mindset anyway to start. So the offensive lines is where we need to start to kind of work from. And then, a lot of people talk about wide receivers and all this kind of stuff. And we'll see from that point moving forward. Then you start looking into some of the positions like backup quarterback. If Jameis is not here, what do we do? Do we keep Marcus May, being that Jordan Howden stepped up? That's something else we're looking at. Laddie Daddy, there's rumors about him being traded, and Kamara. I don't think that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But then again, when you have these people like Loomis and Dennis Allen here, you never know what kind of foolishness they would do. But hopefully they won't. Maybe perhaps. And the Saints need to really kind of look at the linebacker position. I know people like Nephi Sewell and Peyton Turner, but Demario Davis is getting up there. Saints perhaps, and I see they got DeMarco Jackson, but man, there's still some people that you probably could look at the linebacker position. The defensive end is another position too, because we're not exactly sold on the defensive end position. Cam had 2 sacks this year, not really he had a really off year this year, and he was promising that he's going to come back strong the next year. but he's still getting up there. Isaiah Foskey, the Snowman, is still a unknown commodity at this point, even though he played really well for Notre Dame in college. In college, the pros are two different things. He got to kind of prove himself. And Peyton Turner is basically, I don't want to paint him as Marcus Davenport, but he's following the same trajectory as Marcus Davenport. And it's weird because the Saints picked him because he reminded them of Davenport, and they wasn't lying. Let me tell you something. They wasn't lying. Boy, I'll tell you something, man. So anyway, having another defensive end is always a thing that the Saints could definitely do. But you don't know, Peyton Turner is a first-round draft pick. He's going into his fifth year as a first-round draft pick, and of course Cam getting close to the back end of his career. So if you can come across a defensive end early on, and GM Kev threw Jared Verse at me. I don't know if Verse will be available when they pick there. But, that wouldn't be a bad option to have another pass rusher to keep it going, because they're going to need that help on the other side. So there's other things involved, but that's a few things I just want to throw at you. I don't want to throw too much at you guys right now with it, because it's the offseason now. There'll be plenty of shows to do all that other stuff on. So, All right. So anyway, Derek says, remember the 6 to 8 quarters with Carr having no touchdowns, then only Taysom and Winston had 2. And now Loomis talking how good it was how Carr played injured. Yeah. It's they think that they can dogpile that. They can throw all that stuff on you at the end of the season and say, well, look at Carr's numbers. Carr's numbers were fantastic. Carr's had some of the best numbers here and the best numbers there. But the numbers is one thing, but the optics is a whole nother thing. Would you look at the numbers and see, don't be fooled by the numbers. Remember the games you was watching. Because they'll do that. They'll play these little kindergarten propaganda games where they start throwing statistics, or he starts stat prattling, like I said he does, when Mickey Loomis starts stat prattling off. Well, he got over 30,000 yards, and he got these many touchdowns and only these many interceptions. Oh my God, he had a fantastic year. No. We're not going to play that with you, because we understand that a lot of that happened on the back end of the season. When we needed him to win games, that wasn't the case. He wasn't throwing touchdowns. I remember there was 8 quarters. It got up to like 8 or 9 to 10 quarters where Carr he couldn't throw a touchdown. He wasn't scoring touchdowns. But the Saints' philosophy never changed. They kept trying to get Carr to lead them to wins, and I kept telling them he's not ready for that. You need to use the running attack. You need to figure out a way to run the football. You got to figure it out. If you have to pull these lazy linemen out of there and put somebody else in there, you do it. You got to make a change at the play caller level in terms of the offensive coordinator. You do it. If for a game or two, you do what you need to do. So, I mean, in the end, we remember the optics. It's definitely different than all of the stats he was able to pile on the back of the season when he had 4 touchdowns. That really helped his stats out big time when he threw for those 4 touchdowns, and then he had how many yards he threw in the game. A lot of piled on stats right there, so that you can get that to you at the end of the day. So we're not fooled by the stat piling, the stat dog piling that the Saints do. We're not fooled by that bullshit. Now, I know that I was looking at his games during the season and like, what is going on with these guys that they can't get on the same page? And it took them so long to get on the same page because they were mismanaged. So now we got all the stuff circulating around with Gruden and the Saints interested in Gruden. And there's reports saying there's mutual interest. Of course, there's mutual interest. Mickey Loomis met with John Gruden in Tampa before the Tampa Bay game, the second Tampa Bay game, and they had a discussion about it. And they were talking about bringing Gruden in with Carr, and that's the last effort they're going to do in terms of trying to get these people to play together. Gruden comes in, and they're trying to make that happen. Only problem is that Gruden is suing the NFL. That's going to be interesting to see how that works. It's going to be crazy, but leave no shortage of being bored this year. I tell you what, the Saints keeping it all in front of you. Brent says Mickey going to get mad. You pre-evaluate so much, Q. That's right. He said, well, listen, he can pre-evaluate. That means less I have to do. That's how I look at it. I'm living the easy life. Yeah, but Mickey, everybody's kind of upset about the team. They finished without a plan. Well, I understand. I know there's a lot of anger and upsetness, but hey, listen, you got to look at the good side. Really, what's the good side? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Okay, I don't think that's a good side. Like, hey, yeah, hey, I'm not mad. When you reach my age and you're rich and you're not mad, hey, that's a win. And they'll be all right. Well, what should we tell them, Mickey? Well, tell them scratch their ass and get glad. Tell them get a what Richard Pryor said. Tell them take a Coke and a smile and shut the what up. Oh, that's what you do. Tell them scratch their ass and get glad. That's right. That's what you tell them. That's what you want me to tell them for real, Mickey? You gonna have them slapping the piss out you, man. Come to the fam, man. Thank you for that, Brent. Much love, man. Listen, we're gonna get ready to get out on that, man. Listen, I appreciate the family members for chiming in. If y'all got any quick questions, I'll wait a few minutes, fam. Just throw them in the chat. I'm gonna try to answer about 2 or 3 of them before I get out of here, and go from that. But shout out to the fam, Mr. Who Dat. Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you. Much love, Snakebite. Good to see you in there. BP, much love, brother Irvin. Good to see you, man. Much love. Appreciate you, brother Slims, in this thing. All right, good to see you, fam. Appreciate you as well. DJ Phil Cole, like I said, I gave DJ Phil Cole a shout out. Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you. All right, brother Pete says, "What's up, WM Junior? WM Junior, you shout out to me. Yeah, starter jackets, bro. Oh yeah. Well, listen, hold on, Jameis. Let me tell you something, but y'all know I'm a part comedian, man. Yeah, hold on, okay, hold on. Don't cut me off. Okay, my bad, Mickey. No, okay. You don't have to apologize. Just don't do it again. All right. Okay, now you pushing it, Mickey. Okay, I ain't gonna push it. All right, now listen. And I told Jameis, I said, Jameis, listen up. I know what Dennis told you, and you said it, he lied to you, and he told you were going to be the starter last year, and he kept Andy in there. I get it. But let's just, starter is such an interesting word. If somebody tell you're a starter, that's a kind of a French word there, buddy. I'm gonna rock with Dennis on that one. I'm just he's the coach and he knows better. Okay, it's okay. He's the coach, and I really believe that's how it played out, man. When you talk about Mickey Loomis doing anything in the building, like Mickey Loomis after they hear about Chris Olave's situation that happened and Michael Thomas' situation with them with the jail stuff, because they both went to jail and then got bailed out, stuff like that, the frustration. And he had both of them in his office talking to him. Well, hey, listen here, guys. Both you guys were in the can, in the hose down, and the hose gal. Where, Mickey? The hose gal. The hose gal. No, we were in the. They locked us up because well, what were you doing, Chris? I was speeding. Well, why the hell were you doing that? That's a long story, Mickey. All right, well, I don't want to hear that. Mike, what's going on there? Well, Mickey, to be honest with you, man, a guy was parking in front of my house, man, and I've been kind of frustrated lately. Derek was throwing the ball at my feet, throwing it behind me, throwing it over my head. He actually threw one where I had to stretch out. The guy hit me and I got hurt. So, I've been kind of frustrated. I was kind of mad. He kind of let me, and I thought he, it's a little frustrated there. Oh, okay. I hear you. Yeah. Oh, why? Oh, what the hell that's got to do with you getting locked up? Why were you in the hose gal? The where? The hose gal. What's the hose gal, Mickey? Oh, I'm sorry. And confinement. Well, we were in the jail because I got the guy. I picked up a brick and started hitting this guy's truck because he was parking in front of my house, and I told him don't do it. Well, that's not good, Well, anyway, listen. Anyway, listen. You guys go and talk to Dennis and tell him what you did. Tell him you're sorry, and we're gonna just forget it. Okay, all right, y'all go on out of here. All right, that kind of stuff. It's nothing like it's not like you can go to Mickey and he'll appease you. It's just not like that. I just don't see it because too many people get frustrated and they don't have nowhere to go. So there's a lot of they doing stuff that that they're not supposed to do. They just get frustrated. Like Chris Olave, he was frustrated because Dennis Allen threw Chris Olave under the bus when they asked about what was going on. Well, he ran the wrong route. I thought you were supposed to keep that in house. So only things that happen against Carr is what he keeps in house. You see, he's a irresponsible parent who picks favorites. See that you never you got a bunch of children and you picking favorites. You're not supposed to do that. But that's how dumb that Dennis Allen is. Oh, he ran the wrong route. So was it on Carr? Oh, hell no. It's on that guy over there. And the next thing you know, he's speeding, speeding out the building. But listen, man, it's been a wild and wacky season, man, with these people, to be honest with you, man. But I just think that we need a better manager, a general manager over the team that has more of an in touch feel with the team, not somebody that obviously is detached from reality, can't tell when the guy has a problem with the team. He can't tell the difference between positive conversation and negative conversation. Just doesn't have, just totally blind to everything. When the Detroit game happened and people sold their tickets and it was Detroit people in the lower bowl section, his response to that was, and I bull crap you not, his response, Mickey Loomis' response was, oh, well, that's very, I don't like it, but it is what it is. Sometimes people, they take their tickets and, and they don't go to the game. And sometimes people have to take their tickets and sell them because they need the money and I'm like, what? where did you pull that out of your ass from? I mean, what evidence are you grasping at that they needed the money? Well, they sold their tickets because they obviously needed the money. See, I don't need the money. I'm Mickey flipping Loomis over here, Now, hey, listen, I don't like to toot my own horn sometimes, but hey, listen, hey, I got it going on over here, buddy. Let me tell you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I won't toot my own horn every now and again, but hey, I got it going on over here, buddy. I don't need to tell you nothing. I'm what they said it. I'm the snishneck. Am I saying that right? No. I'm the crap. That's no, Mickey. That's not. No, well, then again, yes. It's just I don't took my own horn over here, buddy. But I got it going on, buddy. No, you don't. No, you don't. You really don't, bro. You are definitely not the shit, but you are stinking like it. I ain't gonna lie to you. You stink. But anyway, man, but yes, this is some of the stuff that we have to deal with going into the season. We covered a lot of this on the show today. We talked about some of the numbers. The restructuring is going to start happening over the time. We'll get into some of the draft and the mock draft stuff as we start to approach that section of the season, as we figure out what's the positional needs of our squad and what we need to be looking at. Me personally, based on my observations of the team over the past season, I think offensive line is a big thing that the Saints really need to focus on going into the season. The running game and protection issues, they did a decent job of protecting the quarterback, but running the ball was way too inconsistent. We need to improve upon that with Elvin Kamara and we got Kendra Miller and Jamal Williams. We got a full stable of running backs that are very good. We need to give them a proper offensive line for them to run behind and have better success than what the hell they had this upcoming season. This past season. For the upcoming season, this will really help out if they can focus on that. Perhaps another pass rusher and some other things, man, moving forward. So anyway, that's a quick, brief look at what's happening for the season. I'm going to get ready to get on out on that. Hold on, let me get a few of the questions from the family members. All right. Brent says, how many of the so-called leaders and staff are Hoodats and grew up with the black and gold? Yeah, I mean, I ain't too many of them. I know Mickey Loomis was the guy that he came from Seattle. He was working with the Seattle team, and he came here, and when Tom Benson was here, and he kind of grew into the role, over time. It took him a while to get there, but eventually he did, so yeah. But I think over time, the problem that happened with a lot of people, who lose sight of what they're doing it for, and they get to a certain point away from the people where they believe that they're untouchable, and you're not untouchable. The moment people start, you're going to really see it, because it's just that point of time when you got to pull a string. You gotta hold, it's a reality check time for the Saints because Mickey Loomis is sounding like a real elitist right now. Degrading people, lazy and unsophisticated. That's stupid. I'm not going to do that. All this petulant, elitist style talking that Mickey's been doing over the last several weeks is sounding real blue collar like. We don't like that type of talking, Loomis. We don't. And it's time for the team and the family members to check them on that. We've reached that stage right now, family, where we've had a lot of success. And at that point, they were still on their game. Now they reached it to a point where we have to check them again because they got to a point, and it happens all the time, that they can't stay grounded. When you get to the point where you ignoring what people are saying and they telling you they want this guy fired, they're just not pulling that out of their backsides. It's a reason why. The man is not a good coach, bro. And now it's getting to a point where it's an ego thing now. Well, I made him the coach and he's going to stay the coach. So, that kind of stuff. And you're not going to win with that, bro. You're not going to win with that. You're not going to win with that. It's just not going to look good. But thank you, Brent. Appreciate you for the super chat, my brother. Thank you on that. Brother Eric says, heading home, got to drop these pups in Fort Worth. Okay, appreciate you too, fam. You have a good night, bro. Brother Eric always on that roll as well. All right. Shazam enjoying himself. T-Roy said, I have 3 season tickets thinking about not renewing them. See? All right. Shazam says, man, when we said that, I was like, yeah, right. I mean, bro, I just play it. I make jokes about it because it's stupid. It's really dumb, the type of stuff this man was saying. Derek says Loomis ain't taking negative noise from players either. No, right. It's like this dude he totally out of it. What's up, Ramsey? Shout out to you, man. Brother Irvin says, take this mouse weasel's face off the screen, Q. I'm sorry, brother. That's the thumbnail. We about to get ready to go. Jay Rideout says one of the announcers on the ATL game said DA grew up oh, did he now? That I don't like him even more. So now he's an agent, man. That's what he is. Brent says, well, I don't have to like it. Come on, man. Yeah, he said that too. I don't have to like it. When the people was going and selling their tickets. Mickey Loomis basically said that. I couldn't believe he said that. He said, well, I can understand. I don't like it. Well, they took their tickets, they sold their tickets, and and they needed the money. No. How'd you guess that? No, they didn't. No, that wasn't what happened, Mickey Loomis. And for him to say that, it told me that, Mickey, you need to stay off that dope, man. That's not reason people got rid of their tickets because they needed the money. They got entertainment budgets, man. Most people that have season tickets or go to the game, they ain't using a power bill money and they fuel money to do it. They got discretionary income where they could be able to set that on the side. And this is marked as game money. Where we could be able, this little extra money right here, this is for the Saints, and this is my ticket money and my jersey money and whatever else. Oh, well, no, that's not true. They needed that money. That's their cell phone bill. That's what they're doing. It's a cell phone bill. That's what it is. I'm like, no, it's not, bro. That's that's their, that's the entertainment budget. That's what people do. They're responsible. Oh no, they're not. They're lazy and unsophisticated. All right, Mickey. Okay. I ask you, who you picking, Browns or Texans? I'm gonna go with the Browns, man. Joey Flacco playing really good. The Browns are responding to him, and I got to go with the veteran team over the upstart rookie. Even though I respect the hell out of DeMeco Ryans and what he did with that Houston Texans team. That Houston Texans team was a absolute miracle story, and probably DeMeco Ryans should be given an award for what he did. That team stunk for many years, and DeMeco went down there and turned them people around with a rookie quarterback at the top of the team and a lot of young players on that team, and he turned them into a playoff team in his first year there. Don't tell me what leadership and smart decision making could do. DeMeco Ryans deserves all the credit in the world for what he did with the Houston Texans team. He made them valid again. But I have to go with the Browns, even though I love what the Texans are doing. I'm gonna go with the Browns on that one. All right. Thank you, Chantel. Devin says, is it true that Mr. Benson wrote in his will that Mickey could not be fired? I don't remember hearing that, bro. I don't remember hearing that he put in his will that he couldn't be fired. I never heard that, bro, to be honest with you. But thank you for the question. Brent says Mickey looks like Gargamel. Yeah, from the Smurfs. Yeah, he sure is talking like Gargamel too. You ratchet little Smurfs. Yeah, that. He sound like Gargamel nowadays, boy. The way Mickey firing off, talking crap, man. Thank you for that, bro.
Thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
Yeah, so shout out to the fam, man. We're gonna get out on that, man. I appreciate all the family members for being in the stream, man, for this one, man. Tomorrow probably won't be a show. For Friday, we got the Pelican post-game report. The Pels back in action Friday night against the Denver Nuggets. They'll be in Denver against the Nuggets. We'll be on the Pelican post-game report on Friday. Perhaps we'll do something with Coffee with Q on Saturday, man. We'll cover some latest news, notes, and items for our Coffee with Q segment. But probably we'll see what goes on tomorrow, fam, depending on my schedule. But anyway, listen, fam, do me a favor. If y'all hadn't hit the like button, please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on the social media feed. We're like, I don't know, family. We're close. Maybe 20 subscribers off from like 12,000 people on the year. I mean, actually, that's pretty damn good, man. Not bad at all. But please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share the show on your social media feed with the rest of the diehards out there. The Great Saint Think Tank, we in effect. So y'all have a good night, man. The rest of y'all night, and I'm gonna holler at y'all on the next one. Much love and go Saints.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Something spooky, too funky. I'm just jumping
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform